Hey everyone, either welcome back or welcome to my channel. And in today's video, I want to talk a little bit more in detail and explain a little bit about this sore spot on my head and kind of talk a little bit more in detail about it. So, before I get into what I mean by this sore spot on my head, let's roll the intro. Hey everyone, welcome to my YouTube channel. My name is Ashley Stewart. So, 2018 was actually a pretty hard year for me, but it was also a pretty good year too. So, I completed my bachelor's degree in biochemistry, but at the same time, I was also diagnosed with a rare condition called idiopathic intracranial hypertension, or IIH. Some of you may also know this by its older name called pseudotumor cerebri. So, if you're curious to learn more about what it's like to live with this rare condition, then I encourage you to watch on. Don't forget to subscribe, and I upload new content every Monday and Thursday afternoon. I know I've mentioned and showed this to you guys now a couple of times. I don't actually remember what videos anymore, but I know I've showed it to you at least twice, but I know I mentioned it probably more than that. But for several months now, I have had a sore spot on I would say it's the top, kind of the crown of my head. And again, in case this is the first time that you're finding one of my videos or finding my content, this sore spot is located right back here. It's right here. It's kind of right where I lie my head on my pillow, which is really irritating at night. I actually sleep on top of two pillows. This sore spot can get quite sore. It has actually woken me up in the middle of the night and sometimes even still does. But when I say I get woken up with a headache during the middle of the night, this isn't what I mean. So when I get woken up with a headache during the middle of the night, it's a legitimate headache. It's a actual headache. But sometimes I have actually woken myself up by rubbing this part of my head on the wall. I do remember that happening a couple of times for sure. So I want to talk about this in a little bit more detail and what it feels like and all of that. This sore spot, it never seems to go away for me. I have mentioned this to my doctors probably 2 or 3 times at this point, and they don't seem to be too concerned about it. I just want to bring it up just because maybe some of you have had a similar sore spot on their head, and maybe we can relate to one another. And that's what this channel is all about, is building a community where we can relate to one another and share our commonalities with IIH. Basically, for me, if someone touches the back of my head, they probably will get yelled at. I don't hold back. I try and be nice about it if they're a stranger and they don't know me. However, they shouldn't be touching the back of my head if they are a stranger. This spot, it's kind of when it's just in the, like, it even hurts even just sitting up. So when it's kind of just in the air, it's kind of like a dull ache. But when it's kind of leaning against something, depending on where I have it, it can be a little bit of a different kind of pain. So it can be a little bit more sharp if I'm leaning something on it. So the pain can change, but it's a very strange thing. And I honestly don't remember when I first noticed it. This symptom, it could be technically counted as another one of my weird symptoms, in my opinion. I know it does seem to really get bad when like a migraine is coming on or headache or my symptoms are acting up. It seems to be related. I don't know if it's a migraine symptom. When I brought it up to my GP, they thought it was a migraine symptom. The worst part, like I said, is that I actually prefer to sleep on my back usually. I tend to try and sleep on my sides, but I usually end up on my back at some point in the night. And I know if I've kind of woken up and noticed that I'm on my back and my head is hurting a little bit during the night, it can wake me up. It's another one of those painful symptoms. It doesn't interfere though because it's just there. Unlike my calf muscles where I was having to use them all the time, like my head, as long as it's not being touched, then I'm not usually too concerned about it. As long as people aren't touching my head or it's not having something rubbed against it, then it's not really a huge problem. But unlike my calf muscles, which I was having to use to walk around and to do my workouts, the sore spot on my head really isn't a big deal unless I'm trying to sleep or trying to lie down. So when I am trying to rest and I do have a headache, it can become a really big deal because when you're trying to sleep and you have a really, really bad sore spot on your head, obviously having that sore spot can make it difficult to sleep if it's really, really bad. But generally, I tend to fall asleep on my side and then roll over. And usually, if I wake up, it's better, but sometimes it isn't, so it just depends. Because I've had this sore spot for so long too, I've kind of gotten used to having it, and it's getting to the point now where the pain of it really doesn't bother me as much as it used to either. So there's that too. It's just something that I wanted to mention in case somebody else also has the symptom as well, because it's just really strange. And I know at first it really, really bothered me, and it was really difficult actually to sleep properly and all that. But I know I've gotten used to it now, so it hasn't been quite as bad to deal with. But I know at the start it was hard. I just wanted to kind of go over this sore spot, kind of tell you what it was like. And I know for me it's gotten much better than it used to be. And I don't know again whether it's because my headache is different than it used to be, or if it's because I've gotten used to it. I really feel like I've gotten used to it because the the sore spot does kind of actually get worse with when my symptoms kind of peak, and then it just kind of goes back down to a baseline of just pain that I'm used to, and then kind of goes back up again. Like it goes back down, goes back up. The pain is always there and it never really goes away. So I know, like I said, it's to the point where if somebody touches it, even if I'm not experiencing extreme symptoms of a headache, I know I tend to get pretty grumpy with them. It's just something, like I said, that I wanted to mention, and hopefully nobody else has this because I find it more annoying than anything. Anyways, that's it for today. But if you guys have anything that you would like to add, don't forget you can add a comment down below. And as for now, that's it for today. Bye, everyone.